All right.
And so perfect. So we'll start with your name and his name.
Okay, my name is Patty Hickok, and this is Charlie.
Great. And so the first question is, tell us a little bit about yourself and Charlie here, and what is unique about Charlie?
Well, Charlie came to us from a family that needed to rehome him because they were unable to take care of them. And in that, there was some beauty because obviously they care enough about him that they were trying to find a good home. Through my contacts, in the rescue community, that's how they knew that I like Saint Bernards. And at the time, one of my other dogs had died of an old age, so I was just looking to replace her. And then that's how he came to my home. And 2 months before that, I had actually adopted his sister. And it was just incredible because at the time that he came into the home, it was just very obvious how bonded they were, and the personality of the other dog, started to come out because at the beginning I thought that she was just lethargic because she has epilepsy, but after he came, then I realized that it was the bonding and she was probably just missing him. So I always call this like the Hallmark doggy story because we were able to give both of them a home and get them, reunited again.
Awesome.
All right. What would your pet's autobiography be called if they had an autobiography? Yeah, if he. Yeah. So what would be the best description of his autobiography?
Well, it will just be that he started his life in the valley. He had a wonderful home. Eventually, life changed, for that family. They wanted to find them another place, and then he was able to find one with us. And now we can say that he has yet another loving, but this time, a forever home.
Yep, a home, a forever home. Yep. Autobiography.
So how would you describe a no-kill animal rescue to a child?
To a child?
To a child, yeah.
Okay. Well, number one, in the animal no-kill shelters are just something that are incredible because what they are trying to do is ensure that the pets that need a home are able to go to a temporary safe place where the facility is going to work with families, with the community, to make sure that they find the right placement for that home, so that then the dog can then go and have a family, just like little kids, have a mommy and daddy. So then also whether it's a dog, whether it's a cat, a lizard, or whatever it is, that we are able to put them into a good and safe environment.
Perfect. All right. Which animal would make the best president if the animal kingdom were to rise to power?
It will be a cat.
And why would that be?
Because the cats know their own mind. They are sometimes way more assertive than probably any other pet that is out there. And I think that they have their way of getting things done that should be done. And they do it in a way that is gentle and that is going to leave you with a smile on your face when things get accomplished.
Excellent. 5.
Oh, yeah. What would your pet say, or what would Charlie say if we asked him for a reference about you?
Oh, he will say that he is very happy to be living in Eagle River because he loves going on walks every day, over to the, in the river. He enjoys, having a family that loves him. He enjoys being with his sister, and then he appreciates the cats that he lives with too.
Okay, if your pet could redesign the food pyramid, how would it look?
It will start with yummy chummies and followed by more yummy chummies and ending with yummy chummies. Those are like the most favorite food that he has. And then if you can throw a little bit of steak, there, then he will love it even more.
Excellent.
Okay. Right? If your pet or if Charlie used a cell phone, what app would he use the most?
Facebook.
You use Facebook. Does he have a Facebook page?
He doesn't, well, mine looks like Charlie's Facebook page because that's all that we do, take a lot of pictures, a lot of selfies together, and he's like the star, of my page.
Excellent. All right. If your pet wins the title of king or queen, how would you see yourself promoting the awareness of the Alaska Humane Society, Clear Creek Cat Rescue, and other no-kill shelters and rescues in the Alaska community?
Well, I think that would be easy because I have been involved in pet rescue for probably 17 years or so. I started back in 2002 with Friends of Pets in Awake because I helped them develop the safe haven for pets or victims of domestic abuse. To date, that is the only program of its kind in Alaska. Is still operating, so that's one of the sources of greatest pride, that I have. And, I have also been very involved with fostering pets, for rescue groups, supporting financially. I still volunteer, in many events. I like to participate in events where I can bring the dogs. My favorite is the Reading Rendezvous because we get to bring the 2 dogs and then the kids come over to read to the dogs. And that is a safe environment for them to practice reading without being judged. And one of the other things that I do is I am the Facebook manager for one of the rescue groups in town. So I've been doing that, I cannot remember how many years, but several years as well. So I'm pretty familiar, with how everything is. And then in particular, for the Alaska Humane Society and the Clear Creek Cat Rescue, it is, their mission is something that is just amazing because both of them are no-kill shelters. Their emphasis is on providing opportunities, for cats to get a loving and forever home. And that is something that I'm very passionate about because I know that cats don't get as fair of a chance, as dogs do. And the assistance that organizations like these do are just something that our community really needs. And then on top of that, the fact that they obviously spay and neuter, their pets, they help reduce a pet overpopulation, and all the medical check, like the due diligence to try to adopt them to the best place. That is something that resonates with me a lot.
And that goes perfectly into the next question.
All right, so next question is, Peter believes that all financial and volunteer resources would be best spent advocating for spaying neutering as a form of prevention of homeless
Can I ask
pets.
you to repeat that from the beginning?
Okay. So Peter believes that all financial and volunteer resources would be best spent advocating for spaying neutering as a form of prevention of homeless pets versus non-kill shelters taking care of already homeless pets. What is your opinion on where resources are best spent?
Well, I do believe that, I think it is really hard, to answer because everything I think is, it all comes together, at the end. Number one, definitely we need to reduce pet overpopulation by spaying and neutering because obviously there's a lot of pets, that get killed, every year because there are not enough homes, in the United States, and in the world, also. And obviously that is a chain, and something that needs to be avoided. At the same time, there's also other things that we can do, and that is education, people. The other one is education in the community, awareness for what resources are there. So before people go and try to adopt a pet just because they're cute, and then like a year later they're like, oh, it grew too big, I cannot have it, it's too expensive, so all that education needs to happen because that's the reason why pets end up homeless is for many of these reasons. People not being prepared, for the future when unfortunately somebody passes away and then the dog is all of a sudden orphaned because the person may not have family or may not have made any arrangements, for the pet. that's also another, another issue. But at the end of the day, is I cannot say, that there's one particular thing that can be done. I think everything is a combination of spay and neuter, education, awareness.
Okay, and then finally, why did you decide to compete in the Anchorage Pet Pageant?
Well, number one, because I love you guys, and you always are doing amazing work, for the community. The other one is because I really like the concept in that you're trying to do something fun, where you are engaging the community. You're doing it in a fun way, because it's a pet pageant, there's and the other factor is that you are doing it to raise funds for the Alaska Humane Society and for the Clear Creek Cat Shelter, which again, are amazing organizations that deserve, the attention that you're gonna be giving them, with this effort, and obviously, the funds that are gonna be raised as a result of this. So I think it's gonna be a fun day, people that all are here, for the same, a similar goal, and I'm just looking forward to it.
Perfect.
Yep.
And that is it.